Hello, everyone. Y'all, it's Monday. It is Monday. And I do not know about you, but I got my kid's dentist. I forgot to turn on the do not disturb. So, y'all, it's Monday. And I had a weekend. And maybe you also had a weekend. And so I'm here to ask you a question. And that is, how many of you have wonderful, well-meaning, loving, caring, wonderful humans in your life that are constantly trying to protect you by telling you why it won't work? How many of you have the people in your world who think that you are amazing and fabulous and insist upon communicating every risk that is involved with everything that you want to do? How many of you are like me and have people who care so deeply for you that they will always tell you why it will not work? I don't think I'm alone in this. And because it happened to me a bunch over the last week, I'm going to address it. And I addressed it in myself, and I want to address it in you today. Are we ready? Okay. Here's the deal. We have so many people in our life. So many people in our life who think that they're giving us good advice when they have no business giving us advice. Why? Because number one, they haven't been there. Number two, their own story is, I got something in my eyeballs. Number two, their own story doesn't line up with our story, and they don't have another way to communicate with us. They're out of love. They're trying to find, right? They're trying to find the connection, trying to find it, right? And the only way they can find it is in all the ways that it won't work, right? They insist that we need to be wise, and they insist that their version of wisdom is what wisdom is for us. And they're doing it because they love us. And you know what? It just handcuffs us. It holds us back. It puts us in a straitjacket, and it makes us feel like we're failing. So I want to expose today for myself and for you. So it's kind of like I'm giving myself a pep talk at the same time as I'm giving you a pep talk. I want to expose the fear in sheep's clothing. And the fear in sheep's clothing masquerades as wisdom. And I want to talk about it today. So three myths that come to us that get all up in our grill when we are trying to succeed at something huge. Number one, we live in an either or culture. Number two, that low risk equals high security. And number three, I want to talk about the false equivalency of decisions. All right. I guess technically those aren't like three myths. Three things I want to talk about that's kind of bullshitty and I want to call out. Let's do that. The first bullshitty thing is this ridiculous either or culture that we live in. Again, the second thing is bullshitty that low risk equals high security. No. And the third thing is that I want to talk about the false equivalency of decisions. So, hi everyone. Oh, we got comments. Hello. Hi, Jessica. Hello. Oh my goodness. Okay, y'all. Look at this lovely lady, Jessica. I'm literally going to use this example of owning a business later on in the talk. So you stick around, Jessica. Of course, it's hard when people aren't on board with us because they don't know what we're doing, right? How about Ashley? We got, hey, Daniel from the Big Apple. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, everybody. Ashley's here. Jessica's here. Daniel's here. Elizabeth's here. Jessica's here. All right. All the cool people are here. Elizabeth's here too. Melissa is here. Melissa, I think I get to meet you next week. Don't I get to meet you next week? All right, here we go. Barbara, hello. Number one, let's call bullshit on the either or culture. I want to read something to you. I want to read from You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. This book I'm giving out as a early bird to everybody who early purchases, the new How to Run Your Voice Biz Accelerator program. Listen to this. While taking this dictation from your heart and getting clear on your why, you'll have to read the previous part to get it. Here's the deal. We live in a fear-based society that totally gets off on cautioning us, on reminding us how difficult life is, on warning us how hard it is to make money, on holding us back lest we bite off more than we can chew, on screaming, "Look out!" instead of "rock on." By the way, this is why I'm so big of a deal around sassafras in Speakeasy Cooperative, because we need more rock honors instead of lookouters. As a result, this is where it gets good. As a result, we've bought into the idea that it's better to limit ourselves than to stretch. And we've developed this fun-free either or take on what is available to us. You're either doing what you love or making money. You're either a good person or a rich person. You can either help the world or you can help yourself. You can either go on vacation or pay your car loan. Yawn. Instead of looking to where you can cut back, save, and play it safe, which we're going to talk about in a second, look to how you can expand, grow, and start acting like a badass who's control of your own life. My friend Justin Peterson, he says, 2 things can be true. 2 things can be true, everybody. So for example, you can have a big fancy career and be a great mom at the same time. You can be a good Christian and make a ton of money at the same time. You can travel the world and run your own business at the same time. You can do both ands. You can be scared to death and completely successful at the same time. So let's ditch this either or business, everybody. No more either ors. Commit right now to yourself. No more either ors. We are in both and world. Now, if you really want to get technical about it, you can look in the last 60 years at critical thinking and philosophy, and you can say, oh, well, both and, that's very POMO, post-modernity. And right now we're in techo, posto modernity. But, just go with me here. Both ands over either ors. Okay? No more either ors, friends. It's not one or the other. I love to say, I really believe you can have it all. You just can't have it all at the same time. So it's not that you cannot have what you want. It's not that you cannot achieve what you want to achieve. It's that you have to know and plan for it and not try to do it all at once. But if you want it, you can have it. You can make it happen for yourself with planning, with education, with commitment. So that's the first thing. No more either or. Second thing, the lie that we tell ourselves that low risk equals high security. Now, to be fair, if you look in the dictionary at the word safe and you look at the word secure, the first definition is going to be something like free from or not exposed to danger, right? So we do this. We do this where we go, oh, okay, well, safe and secure is the same thing. I am not going to be exposed to danger. But when you take a minute to actually read through the definitions and you start seeing the deeper and other meanings and the other layers, what you realize is that safe means involving little to no risk. Little to no risk, free from hurt. But secure means dependable, firm, not liable to fail, grounded. So we do this thing where we say, well, low risk equals high security. No, it doesn't. It just equals high safety. And you can be secure and not safe at the same time. You can be safe and secure at the same time, but your risk doesn't have anything to do with that level of security. Just because you're taking risks doesn't mean you can't depend on yourself, everybody. Just because you're taking risks doesn't mean that you have to not feel scared. I mean, isn't that courage isn't not being afraid. Courage is doing it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm scared to death. It's a very big risk. I'm going to do it anyway. Right? You can be grounded and secure at the same time. Look at a tightrope walker. A tightrope walker is not necessarily at low risk situation, right? But they can still be secure if they're trusting their talent, they're trusting their training, they're trusting their equilibrium, and they're trusting the big pole they're holding and the net below them. Even if they fall, they're going to be okay. Maybe a little shaken up, but they're going to be okay. Let's talk about those people, those amazing humans that climb Yosemite Half Dome, like the face. That is very risky. And yet they are secure because they have all their carabiners and their ropes and their thingies that go into the mountain, right? So what are your carabiners? What are your poles? What is your net? You have all of the things around you that give you security so that you can take better risks. You can take bigger risks. And all of you have the ability to bounce back after falling off of a tightrope. All of you have the ability to catch yourself with the rope. All right? I know you can. Third thing, let's talk about false equivalencies in our decisions about ourselves. So we love to make our past decisions. we love to make our past decisions and ourselves the rubric for our present and future selves. We love to do that. So if y'all don't know what false equivalency is, it's like it's a fallacy in critical thinking. But what it essentially does is it's when you exaggerate the degree of similarity between two things that are being equated. When you do this, you inflate the importance of the similarity, like the similarity becomes more important than it's actually supposed to be. And you ignore the important differences of the two situations. And then you tend to double and triple down on this, right? So let me give you an example. Here's a false equivalency we make about ourselves. The last time I made a poor decision, I lost money. So every decision I make about money is doomed to fail. Right? First of all, you're exaggerating because you're saying that who you are now is the same as who you are then. You're looking at the similarities. And the only similarity is it's that you that made the decision. But there's no way in God's green goodness that who you are today is the same person you are when you made that poor decision, even if it was yesterday, even if it was last week, and especially if it was a few years ago. Also, I love how Stephanie's like, it sounds like the definition of conspiracy theory. Well, it's a little different than that, but definitely, side note, I really enjoy thinking about thinking philosophy. So knowing the fallacies and what they are and how they show up in social media and in conversation is very, very helpful. And then again, that's why I'm talking about false equivalence here, because how it shows up in your own head, friends. So here's another example. This is what you say to yourself. This is your false equivalency. Okay, self, you're expecting to open a new business, Jessica. Become a beastie boss, multi-teacher studio owner. Literally wrote this, Jessica. But what about that one time when you accidentally sent the wrong email to the client last year? You know you do this. You say, I'm trying to do this big, wonderful, audacious thing. But what about that teeny tiny thing I messed up? That's a false equivalence, friends. You cannot equate your decisions about a large goal with your actions in a totally different arena of your life and a mistake. You can't do that. It's not fair. It's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to your big audacious goal. And it's certainly not fair to the mistake you made because you're giving it way more power than it deserves. and it's taken up way more rent in your head. Y'all, whataboutism is rampant. It is rampant right now. I mean, you can read any political post on the Facebook, and you're going to have like, what about this? And what about that? And da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, y'all, stop. Stop with the whataboutism in yourself. Stop it with other people. And just say, this is what this situation is, and this is what this situation demands of me today, where I am in this moment. Not who I was a year ago, not who I was last night, not who I was 10 years ago, but who am I today, right now, with every tool and every piece of knowledge and every experience and every skill. And then, what are the skills and the knowledges and the tools that I'm going to choose to gain, whether it's a huge ass risk or not, in order to fully become who I want to become? Stop basing your future self on your past self. All right, friends? You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. So how do you, I'm like spouting, right? I'm just spouting. All right, so here's the time where I talk about the tools. 3 tools. It's the 3 R's. You can do rolled R's. Number 1, review. Number 2, reframe. And number 3, remind. Be kind, remind. Review. What is really actually going on? What is really going on? 9 times out of 10, what is really happening is not what is happening in our head. Because our brain likes to fill in the gaps and make up stories based on, again, our past experiences and the ways that we were treated in the past, or the decisions we made in the past, or the outcomes of the past. Take time to review. What do I really have data around? What is the words that have been spoken to me? Where am I imposing meaning onto the words or onto the decision? Where am I self-judging? Get real with yourself. I like to say, have come to Jesus talk with yourself. What's really happening? Not what you're making up. Review. Write it down. This is why meditation is so helpful, whether it's meditation or prayer or just silent thinking, whatever you want to call it. And I will tell you that humanity in general has been convinced that thinking time is luxury time. And if you've worked with me long enough, you know that I believe that this is extra for women. Personal thinking time is luxury. Everybody in your calendar. Now, if you've worked with me around your Clifton strengths, and if you have Clifton strengths like ideation and input and intellection, you will know that I'm telling you it is necessary for you to have time in your calendar every day just to think. Just to think. It's not a luxury. It's not the thing you do after you're done with everything else. It's not the thing you do after you're done with client work or helping your kids or whatever. It is a necessary part of your day, just as necessary as going pee and eating your lunch. Okay? Make it as important as that voice lesson or that client session on your calendar. Thinking time. It's stolen from us. It didn't used to be, with the rise of social media, it's even worse, right? Because now we just do the mindless scroll. Like, what if you were in line at the grocery store and you left your phone in the car? Or you put in your back pocket. What if you didn't immediately go to the scroll or go to the play, even if you're not on social media? But what if you didn't immediately go to fill the gap? You'd have so much more space. So make time for it. Review. Number 2, I know, y'all gonna pee and eat lunch? Jenny, I'm sorry, is a robot. Jenny is the robot awesome woman. She never has to pee or eat lunch. We all want to learn your secret. Teasing you, Jenny. Okay, second thing, reframe. You must shift your perspective. So remember in the second one when I was talking about the risk and safety and security, right? I gave you a reframe for that. So the framework that we walk into is low risk equals security. If I play it safe, I will be secure, right? No, you can reframe it to say, I take powerful risks and I am still grounded. I take big, scary, audacious risks and I am firm and I will be okay. I take risks that make other people question me, but I am dependable. I depend on myself and I will show up for myself when I am scaring other people with my risks. Okay. Third, remind. Y'all, can you just remind yourself who you are? Can you sit down and write a love letter to yourself? I hear some of the things, I work with some of you in the comment thread, and I hear some of the things you say about yourself. And if you ever said to another person what you say to yourself in your head, you wouldn't do it. Would you remind yourself of how far you've come? Would you write that love letter to yourself? Would you tell yourself, look at all the data of everything that's gone right and then gone wrong. Look at all of the times that it passed. I get it. When you're in the middle of some pain and someone says, this too shall pass, you're like, I get that. But the reality is you can, this is where you do look back. Instead of looking back at all the ways you failed, this is where you look back and you say, I always made it through. I have proof that I make it through. I have proof that I am changed when things go wrong. I have proof that I make good decisions after poor decisions. I have proof that I make great decisions with amazing consequences. Can you talk to yourself the way that you would talk to one of your clients or one of your students or your spouse or your kid or your partner? Would you talk to yourself in a way that is more in line with those big, hairy, audacious goals, more in line with where you are going instead of where you've been? I know this is a little silly, but I don't care. I don't care if it's silly to tell you that you are fantastic. I don't care if people think it's cheesy. I don't care if people think that I'm blowing smoke up your ass. I do not care, because I have seen too many people show up to make themselves available for the ridiculous, and the ridiculous has said, hold my beer. I have seen too many people succeed. I have seen too many people go from being feeling completely out of control of their life to feeling 100% in control of their life. I have seen too many assholes turn into spirits of gentleness and kindness. I've seen it too many times. So if you're in that space and you need to do some changing, it's going to happen. It will happen. You will change. If you want to, you will do it. You will succeed because you chose it. Get some people around you that are going to help you. Do you know James Clear in Atomic Habits? And I'm looking over here. There's also a person named BJ Fogg also wrote a book on habits. They both say this: if you want to change your life, get around people who also want to change their lives and have goals like this. We have to start normalizing success, friends, especially in our industry. Dear Lord, all of the talk of how people are not successful, all of the decisions and definitions of what success is. Normalize being successful. Success doesn't necessarily mean money. Success doesn't necessarily mean time. Success means doing what you say you want to do and being in control of your boundaries and your actions so that you can create the life you want. That is what success is. And I don't care if that looks like money to you, awesome. That looks like more time back to you, amazing. If that looks like ownership of a big company, fabulous. I don't care. I don't care what it looks like. You can show up for yourself and you can be successful. I've seen too many failures become successes. I watch it every day. Doing it every day in Speakeasy Cooperative. Doing it every day in VIP Room. We're going to do it every day in How to Run Accelerator. Normalize being successful. Normalize making enough money to pay your bills. Normalize. Get around people that normalize this for you so that you don't feel like you're the one blowing in the wind. You're the only one thinking that you can make things happen. Get around people who believe it's possible. You have to. As you will... You don't have to. You can do whatever you want. It sure does help, and there's science to prove that it helps. There's that. All right, I'm going to look at the comments now because I ranted. In a good way, though. It wasn't like a bad rant. It was like a pep talk rant. Yes, Karen, schedule time to think. Ooh, and because you got futuristic too, Karen. So that'd be super cool. You make magic. Oh, Daniel had to go. Yep, finish later. Elizabeth, I love this. Elizabeth says, this makes me feel things. I hope it does make you feel things. I hope it makes you feel like how amazing you are. I hope it makes you feel that you can do things that are hard. Ashley saying, hashtag schedule think time. Yep. All right, Mickey. This is my favorite comment of the day. Because anyone who wants to listen to my rants, invited to my life all the time. Thank you, Mickey. That means a lot to me. Can I tell you something before I go, everyone? When I moved to Sacramento 6 years ago, I was in a super bad place. Super bad emotional place. I was mad. I was mad at myself. I was mad at my husband for making me move here. I was mad that I had to give up my studio. This is all the stories I'm telling myself, right? I had to give up my studio. I had to stop my directing career. I had to... I was so mad, so upset. And people would try to do this, what I'm doing now, and like say nice things and like tell me to believe in myself. And I would just be like, get the out of my face. I was so angry. So I get it. I get being in that place where you just refuse to take responsibility for what you have control over because it feels like you don't have control. I get that. I'm also here to tell you that at some point, the only person who can change your life is you. The only person who can make a decision, the only person who can draw and then enforce a boundary is you. And don't let any person, I failed a lot. I failed a lot on my way here. Like a lot. Some of you were around when I made a $15,000 mistake last year. Yeah, that was fun. Fail a lot. I was in a bad place. I was in a bad way. And that's why these talks, silly as they are important to me. Because someone is going to hear it at just the right time, just like I heard a talk at just the right time. And I was tired of being a victim of my own mentality. So I give them because you just never know when someone is ready to make themselves available for the ridiculous. Come with me. Let's go be available for the ridiculous and let's watch ridiculous show up for us, okay? Have a flippintastic Monday. Yes, Monday. Have an amazing rest of your week. Schedule think time and process time. Schedule time to write yourself a love letter to yourself. And I will see you in a couple weeks. All right? You are fabulous. Don't let anyone tell you different.